Some would say, why even bother determining the pedigree of a convicted murderer who hung himself? Well, if it were not for the 23 siblings of the infamous Mungo Campbell, and you determine that you are descended from one of them, this family history and pedigree is of the utmost importance. The antiquary James Paterson, writer and journalist who lived between 1805 and 1876, provides this footnote in his History of the Counties of Ayr in 1863. He provides us with a nice framework, though not absolute nor complete in his findings. It serves as a useful springboard. Now, as we turn to the primary document of the defense of the trial of Mungo Campbell, we see that he is descended of the ancient and noble families of Cessnock, Loudon, and Argyll. Once again, in the trial of Mungo Campbell, there's a glimpse of who raised him from age 10 to 18. It was Cornet Mungo Campbell of NETHERPLACE, who took him into his family and educated him. This table shows how many children of Provost Mungo Campbell have been found in the christening records. This table also indicates that the family closely followed the customary Scottish naming system, although it seems that there is somewhat of a variety on the mother's side. The son of the father has the same name. In this case, Mungo shares the same name as his father. Additionally, the eldest son has the name of the father's father, and the second son has the name of the mother's father, Hugh and William respectively. Hugh Campbell is the name of Mungo Sr.'s father, and William Rankin is the name of Agnes Rankin's father. We have a side-by-side comparison of Paterson's tree from history to his History of Ayr, and also Burke's Peerage. Burke's Peerage borrows a lot from Paterson's tree and also the Heraldry of the Campbells. Patterson did not have the Duke of Hamilton's papers at his disposal, nor did he determine all the ancestral links from the Protocol Book of Gavin Ross. Here's Harvey Johnston's Heraldry of the Campbells, which was published in 1921. 170 copies were printed, but only 150 were offered to the public. This is obviously an archived book that you can find digitized. Please note that 895 is who I personally have determined as godfather Cornet Mungo Campbell, that helped raise the infamous Mungo Campbell between the ages of 10 and 18. Here you have a side-by-side view of Johnston's Heraldry of the Campbells, Loudon, the Campbells of Loudon. You also have Paterson's History of Ayr. Well, Paterson did give us a good bone he threw. If you look at number 5, Sir George Campbell of Loudon, it is supposed that the Campbells of Stevenson Campbell or Dovecote Hill were derived from Hugh, a younger son of this Sir George, as also those of Bally'O'Kill and Calfoldshaw. Well, Calfoldshaw is where we're going to look at first, but it ended up being a brother of this Sir George Campbell that he gave the lands to a Hugh Campbell. Here's the primary source document that shows the granting of lands from the Campbells of Loudon to who would be the progenitors of the Campbells of Brownside. It's a charter by John Dalzell, Lord of Breckenridge, and of the half part of Threepwood, granting to Hugh Campbell, brother of Sir George Campbell, Knight, Lord of Loudon, and Sheriff of Ayr, and to Katrine of Blair, his spouse, conjointly and separately, and the survivor of them, and to the heirs and assignees of Hugh, the 3 merk land of the old extent of his lands of Breckenridge, lying in the barony of Strathaven, within the sheriffdom of Lanark, with the houses and mansion at this time of writing. Here's the link showing how the Campbells of NETHERPLACE, that were formerly of Brownside, descended from the Campbells of Loudon, from the brother Sir Hugh Campbell of Loudon. And then Hugh Campbell of Brownside had a son named James Campbell, who then had a son named James Campbell, who was married to Mariota Crawford of the Norse, who had a son named Mungo Campbell, and also in the Latin is Kentigern. Structure this chart that shows the main NETHERPLACE Campbell's line that starts with Brownside, where they got the lands from Sir George Campbell of Loudon, down to James Campbell, down to James Campbell Jr., and then to Mungo Campbell, also known as Kentigern, of Brownside. And then if you keep going down on that side, you would get to Calfoldshaw, and then the Campbells of NETHERPLACE. But here we see where Mungo Campbell, also known as Kentigern Campbell of Brownside, there's that 1569 disposition dated by the eldest brother Mungo Campbell of the 10-shilling side, now called NETHERPLACE. And that's where you get the first designation of NETHERPLACE, is by Hugh Campbell, the brother of Mungo Campbell, also known as Kentigern. And then Hugh Campbell had a son named Hugh Campbell. Here's perhaps one of the hardest puzzles to fix and to solve. Here's a continuation of the parallel Campbell line of NETHERPLACE, direct lineal ancestry of the infamous Mungo Campbell. And here you have another Hugh Campbell of NETHERPLACE. From the records that were extant, he died before 28th August 1611. He had a son named Hugh Campbell who thrived between 1617 and 1643. He was married to Janet Campbell, and he had a brother named Mungo Campbell, notary public, son of Hugh Campbell of NETHERPLACE. Now what? Well, we go back to Paterson, where Mungo Campbell's father was provost of Ayr, and his father's father, Hugh Campbell, was a minister at Muirkirk. Mungo's great-grandfather is purported to be another Hugh Campbell. Yet both of these life events do not tie in nicely into the main Campbells of NETHERPLACE line. On the main line, you have stories of Mungo Campbell keeping the church against George Wishart in 1544 in order to protect relics at the MAUCHLINE parish. This Mungo Campbell of Brownside functioned as a witness in the creation of the charter at New Milnes, and up to 1557 was also a clerk at MAUCHLINE. I'm not sure if Paterson was in a hurry or he was rushed, but I consulted the same record that he did for primary source, the Commissariat record of Glasgow. He chose on the left Hugh Campbell, that Margaret Pethian was espoused to Hugh Campbell in MAUCHLINE, which the will was entered 4th November 1630. However, in that same record, I found a Hugh Campbell of NETHERPLACE in the parish of MAUCHLINE. The will entered 14th October 1643. So he chose the wrong Hugh Campbell, and he also linked it to the main NETHERPLACE line, which is incorrect. It was necessary to take a panoramic view because we have so many Hughs that don't necessarily match up with times and births and everything. So we have a Hugh Campbell that dies before 1611, but it has a son, Mungo Campbell, who is a notary public designated as a son of Hugo Campbell of NETHERPLACE. This is key. On 19th June 1637, this Mungo Campbell represents another Hugh Campbell who is also a son of Hugh Campbell in a criminal action where Hugh Campbell is accused of clipping coin. This Mungo Campbell has a brother named Hugh Campbell. Not sure if it is the man mentioned above, but by 1643, this Hugh Campbell is deceased, and Mungo Campbell is named as tutor of the issue of Hugh Campbell, namely Mariota, George, and Hugh, who were all minor children. First, Paterson erroneously attaches a Hugh Campbell of NETHERPLACE to the main NETHERPLACE line. And the will in question is really entered in 1630, so he has that mistake as well. And in place of this, I have the Mungo Campbell, brother to Hugh Campbell, where that Hugh Campbell of NETHERPLACE had a will entered 14th October 1643. And this Mungo Campbell, the brother to Hugh Campbell, who was notary public of MAUCHLINE, is also assigned a tutor dative. And that tutor dative is someone who not only oversees the affairs of someone, but steps in as their guardian, especially where both parents are deceased. So that it settles that issue. Here we see that the 1643 entry of the Testament of Hugh Campbell of NETHERPLACE squares up with the designation of Mungo Campbell, notary of MAUCHLINE, as the tutor dative to Mariota, George, and Hugh. First of all, Paterson switched the date of the will entered from 1630 to 1640 to fit his purposes. This was the Hugh Campbell of MAUCHLINE, not as precise as the Hugh Campbell of NETHERPLACE in the parish of MAUCHLINE, with the will entered on 14th October 1643. Also, a minister who graduates from the University of Glasgow in 1654 would more than likely come from a family where the tutor was a notary than be a farmhand. Hugh Campbell, the nephew on the bottom left, is the best candidate for Hugh Campbell, minister of Muirkirk, the grandfather of the infamous Mungo Campbell. This next issue is really moot, but at least I did find a Hugh Campbell Jr. that was residing at OXINSHAW Farm, which is northeast of MAUCHLINE, northeast of NETHERPLACE. This is a moot issue now because we've already discredited Paterson's first mistake of choosing the wrong Hugh Campbell in the first instance. So I don't need to disprove this. I just want to let you know that I did find this in the record. Notice that MAUCHLINE Parish, this is MAUCHLINE Parish. NETHERPLACE is to the left of where it says MAUCHLINE, and you go to the northeast. Look what's out of bounds. It's in the adjoining parish of Sorn Parish is OXINSHAW Farm. and OXINSHAW Farm is not tied or associated in charters or seasons or any documents otherwise to the NETHERPLACE Campbells until the 18th century. So here's the final result of the parallel pedigree to the Campbells of NETHERPLACE down to the infamous Mungo Campbell. The key here is Mungo Campbell, notary public, son of Hugh Campbell of NETHERPLACE, who had a brother named Hugh Campbell that had 3 children, Mario to George and Hugh, that he was appointed to Mungo Campbell, notary public, was appointed the tutor of them, and that Hugh was Reverend Hugh Campbell, and he had a son named Mungo Campbell as the provost of Ayr, and that Mungo Campbell is purported that he had 24 children, but we've only determined 15 of those children, which Mungo Campbell, the infamous Mungo Campbell that killed Lord Eglinton, is his issue there. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you. Please hit like and subscribe. Have a nice day.